Hello everyone, I am Nu-Trix the synth guy, and you hear my voice through the Jupiter XM today. Because what I'm doing today, I'm going to actually demo the voice designer. If you don't know, the history of Roland with synthesizers is also a very rich one with vocoders. They had plenty of cool vocoders over the time of the years, and the voice designer of the Jupiter XM seems easy and simple when you start using it, but honestly, it's a lot deeper than it just shows from the start. Now, there's a reverb in my voice because right now my voice goes through the Jupiter XM. Somewhere along the line, there's a reverb in it. The first thing first, it's not easy to install the voice designer if you don't know how to install it. What I mean by that is that you have to go into the Roland Cloud Manager. You have to download it. Actually, you have to buy it and download it. It's a model expansion for the Jupiter XM. When you download it, what you get is a zip file. You unzip, and sadly, in it, there's no information on how to install it. And that is a real issue for me because I tried to understand how to install it, and I couldn't find how to do it until I went on the Roland website, the support page for the Jupiter, and there's a manual about the voice designer, and on the first page they tell you what to do. Basically, it's not difficult. You have to take the file that is the executable, the expansion, and you put that at the root level of the USB memory stick that you actually formatted with the Roland, system, or you format it as a FAT32. Put it in, turn off your Jupiter. Turn on the Jupiter while you hold the enter button, and then you get a window saying, you want to import. You go to the next window with the arrow on the side. This is all written in the PDF, what I'm saying right now. And you go on the right side, and then you click yes to import. It will upgrade your Jupiter XM or X to the vocal designer expansion. When that is done, you've got the voice designer in it, plus you have a real big bunch of presets. You have 91 new presets. And these are sounds that you just pick one and then you play like this. And then you have a control here on the board. The button depth is now controlling how much I want to hear my voice, and how much I want to hear this other one. This is the level here. I've got the level. And this is the Vox Synth X. And it's just a cool sound. There's a lot of different sounds you can play with. And you just easily can go and switch for the next one. And they all sound pretty cool. Some of them are made to be made polyphonic and have some nice sound to it. It's just a cool sound. Now if I add some chorus and some reverb, it's even nicer. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a tongue wall. So this one. So these are all the different sounds. Shiny robot. If you want, the little thing. There's something you gotta be careful about is you need to have a microphone that is good enough to have a good recording of your voice and a good level coming in. So you have a good tracking of all the sound that you make with your voice. Remember, it doesn't have to be voice. It could be a drum machine. Yeah, that would be cool. There's a lot of things you can do with it. But then what's interesting when they say voice designer, it builds on everything that Roland did in the past, different types of models over the years. And the 91 preset gives you hints of what they can do, but then you can go in and you can go deep in it and modify it. So if you just want to hear them, you have a wide classic sound of the 770. 770. And by the way, I just want to be sure to clear out that I'm not a singer at all, but it's a pretty cool way to have this sound going this way. And this one is having like a little synth sound going in. Some of them are monophonic. Some of them are polyphonic. This one is also monophonic. And you have to figure out the way they don't all react the same way with your voice. So depending on the type of voice you have, you're going to have to mix and match the different, I would say, algorithms and the carrier. Now, let's go back to what a vocoder is. A vocoder is basically having two sounds, a carrier and a modifier if you want. The carrier would be the synth sound, so you hear the sound, the electronic sound, and the modifier is the voice coming in and shaping the synth sound so it sounds like it's talking. So the modulator is your voice or anything you put in, and the carrier is the synth. Now, when you go through it, you might feel if you just go quickly through it that you basically just pick one and sing it, and if you like it, you keep it. But you can actually go in and change the carrier to any type of internal sound source that the Jupiter has. So it could even be drums, it could be any synthesis, for what I understand, that is already part of the Jupiter XM. So it's not limited to only like having the vocoder presets to play with. So that's really powerful. And by the way, the Jupiter X editor software has been updated to support it. So now if you have this expansion in it and then you load it, you will see the special controls just for the expansion of the voice designer. So let's try just a couple of others. So just to give you ideas of how this sounds, is a pretty cool thing. This is the alien choir. It's an octave shift choir. I am Nu-Trix. You are the people.
I don't think I can do better than this, but this is pretty cool to have with me. Yeah.
They have these pretty cool sounds, and they all have different sounds. And there's really two things you have to think about when you hear them. You have some of them to do these choir and pads. And there's little things you need to understand is that
there's the algorithm on how your voice is gonna be controlling or affecting the carrier. And then it changes between there's like 20 of them, so really wide. But also, the modulator carrier is going to be affecting the choice of that one, also change a lot. And then still you have control over the cutoff frequency. You can also play with the filter, and you play with the resonance, and it sounds also with that. And again, if you use the arpeggiator, you can still have this going with me. Oh, yeah. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You can change the tempo. I can think of nothing else to do with this. That will be it. Let's try this as the vocoder, the stereo vocoder, more of a classic one.
And there's like 91 of them, so there's a bunch of them you can play with. It's pretty cool.
Hey, Clarity. This is Clarity.
It's a JP Classic, JP Classic, JP Classic, JP Classic. It's a VP Phantom. I don't know why this is high, but it's more like a pattern.
they don't have the same sound. 3,000, 3,000. Talk box, this is a talk box. Hello. I am blue. It's actually pretty cool. You have to learn. You have to learn different. You have to find a different way of using your voice because now you start to sing. Even if you're not a good singer, you need to start to sing in rhythm with how you play the keys. So it's gonna be cool. Even you're not on the keys, it will be with you. It will be in tune for you. If I try to sing higher or lower, it doesn't really change. But it will change when I change the keys on the one I'm actually playing. This is actually pretty cool. I like these. And there's some of them really clear. You hear the voice, you hear what the people say. And it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Oh, damn. I'm missing battery power for my... Well, now let's go deeper into the recording of this. So I'm actually going to take the software, the Roland Jupiter X editor. You have it here. I'm going to take the first one. And I'm going to go into the first one here. I'm going to go with the model, change that to... Here we go. You get the voice designer here. Okay. So I've got another voice. I've got the voice designer here. So now I'm into... If you look at this, now I'm into the editor of the vocal designer. So you have the different algorithms here. You've got a lot of them. All of them are a different type of way that your input sound. Like my voice will be analyzed and structured and cut into slices of frequencies or whatever, and then apply as a modulator for the carrier. So that's basically how the modulator will affect the carrier, how it's going to be treated to do it. And you've got two types of carrier. The basic one, which is basically a synthesizer, and the custom one. And when you get into custom, you've got everything that you expect of the synthesizer structure of the Xenology synth as the potential carrier. So this is massive. Let's go to the basic one. Let's just listen to how these sounds, and then you can actually just select classic A. These are just the way my voice is being modulated on the track, on the sound. Classic B, just another way that this is also doing the same job. Classic C, just another way that this is doing the same type of approach, but a different type of algorithm. You get female and male, you have them on both sides. Like on one side you've got female, on the other side you've got male. Male and female doing this type of duo thing. So you have a lot of them. Gospel. This is clean, dry, without any reverb or delay. You can add that as you wish. You can add all the effects. Even distortion. If you want distortion, you can add the drive and the chorus. Right now, let's keep it very simple. So what we hear are the clean tones, recorded straight, without any effects after that. I'm really just playing with the algorithm.
So really powerful, a lot of options here to control your sound.
Hey, hey, hey.
Ho, 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 ha, ha. He, he. More for a back vocal. Ha, 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 ha. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Remember that I'm not a singer. I'm not a singer at all. I'm a keyboardist, and mostly I'm a sound synthesis. I like to make sounds and beats. I don't sing that much outside of in the shower or in the car by myself. But I still love electronic sound, and voices like this is just like really cool to play with. So the vocoders are more classic vocoder type of sound. And you have also vintage type of sound of electronic voices. And it can be monophonic or polyphonic. And then it gets some of them. And this one. The last three, the Wallbox, Wavox, and Wavox are only, I think they're only available, and some of the vintage are only available when you're in a basic mode. If you go into custom mode, some of them you see, they're not there anymore. The Wah, they're not there anymore. Okay, let's go back to classic one. Now we're in custom.
So in custom mode, now what you do when you're in custom mode, you do in custom common, you got information.
What you have now is the full synthesis, or at least it seems to be, of the Zenology technology, or the Zencore synthesis. So you go to structure, you go into keyboard, you go into oscillator. Well, in oscillator, you can now change. So, okay, I don't want to have the PCM, I want to have virtual analog. Let's go. Virtual analog.
Virtual analog. This is the sound. This is a sawtooth. This is a square wave. This is the wave. Actually, because I'm in VA, this is the one I'm going to work with. Triangular wave or square wave. And if I play with a pulse width, I should be able to have some movement. Pulse wave. Pulse wave. This is the pulse wave. Actually, it should be here. Square wave. I should be hearing now the pulse width change. Cause I'm in pulse width mode for the square wave. So that I'm using, so VA, if I change to PCM sync, now I should be going here, PCM sync wave number, and click here to choose which one I want to use for the PCM sync. Now sibilance. And you also have the super saw. If you're in the super saw, then you just want to play with how much super saw detune you want to have and how fat you want that sound to be. It's just like a super saw. And you have the noise. Noise is always disruptive. This noise is always like, it sounds like somebody is just talking to you in the dark and they say, how do you do, my friend? How do you do, my friend? That's kind of weird. So, really, really powerful. Really, really powerful. Really, 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 really powerful. The option you have here is just staggering and really cool.
I'm not sure how much people will go deep in this because there's so much options. I mean, you basically can take any type of sound of the Zencore technology and use it as your carrier, and then your voice is the modifier. I gotta say, I'm really interested in how powerful this is and how clear some of the voices are. Now, keep in mind, you need a good microphone to do this. I have an Audio-Technica Pro 70, and my clip here, and it sounds really nice. It's clean. That's the one I use for all my videos. If you use a cheaper microphone, you will not get as much of a good response because the microphone's not as good in the transients and the richness of the sound, and all of that is really powerful and useful if you want to control how the sound reacts in the vocoding. It's more than a vocoder in this case, but in the voice processing that you're going to have this here. The only thing I wish was a little bit different is the menu diving. I find it hard on the Jupiter XM. Now, if you want this, it means that you should use the Jupiter X because you would have more control to do it. And the software is still good enough to work. I don't like the layout. I mean, when you go custom and all these, I feel like they're difficult. They're not visual. You see just like rows of numbers and information. So you need to remember that when you go to oscillator, well, if you click PCM, oh, PCM is this one. Instead of just clicking PCM and see the value change and only see PCM values, or if you change to VA and only see VA controls and not see also, because it's easy to say, well, VA, and you change the wave, you say, well, it doesn't change anything. No, because you're in VA and it's VA waveform. It's this one you need to change. So that's the only part I found, it's easy to get lost. And I was like changing stuff around and say, there's no changes. And then to figure out, okay, I'm playing with the wrong one. And I think it's going to be easy to just get, misled because it's all shown in your face. So I would prefer to see stuff disappear or just become gray out. So, okay, you're in VA, these are not for you. You're in PCM, these are not for you. And these are the ones. So just deactivate some of the values depending on which one you're in. So I think it's easier just to browse and use correctly. So that's my 2 cents on that. Stay safe, make more music. See you soon. Cheers.